index. Okay. I wasn't looking forward to having to do this. Was stealing from three.js. And the reason for that is three.js is really complicated. Come on. three.js is really complicated. And I think I'd rather... It'd be nicer to just implement this stuff on my own. Like the geometries, etc. But it just wouldn't scale that well. So I guess I'm stuck doing this. Great. So you haven't used a ton of three.js. This is the first thing you always do with three.js is make this rotating cube. Now, what I want to do is write some sort of interface by which Python code can interact with three.js code running on a server and just take that geometry. And the geometry is like the data that describes this cube. I had to take that geometry and bring it into Python. And I already know this is possible, thankfully. I know this is possible because I was able to render this frame. It's not a very impressive frame. What's important about this frame is rendered with the exact data taken from this program. So it is possible to run three.js code in Python. It's just super annoying. So hopefully I can make it less annoying. Like for example, the one I just took is a box geometry, and I can just cat it out here. There's very simple vertices setup. And then I ported those into Manim, pretty much just copy pasting here. These were copied from three.js into Python. But if you get into something more complicated, if I didn't do a box and I did a sphere, then this is probably, I guess it is possible to copy and paste these, but this would just be way too annoying to try to do that with. Also, I wonder if this has indices? Actually, hold on. If I make this a sphere geometry, look at the browser. Wait, why is there a breakpoint? Guess there's a breakpoint somewhere. Somewhere. Why did that happen? Program cache key and get program. Well, I think that'd be source. No, I have no idea. I'm just gonna search where this happens in the code. This program cache key. It's probably in either WebGL program or WebGL render. Whatever, I'll just search this. WebGL render JS. And if I look at that, is there a debug statement here? Debug. I guess not. I don't know why this is breaking here. Oh, did I just do this from the browser? Okay, there we go. So anyway, this is Sphere. It has low resolution just because that's what it does by default. But it's very easy to change that. It's just a parameter basically. So I just up the width segments, up the height segments. Which I don't totally know how to do. It's probably, well, let me see. Radius, width segments, height segments. So I guess I can just say 1, and I'll do 2020. If I do this, look at the result. And that looks just as bad still. Oh, this was the wrong file. I had to change that here. Okay, that looks a lot more like a sphere. But the thing to do now is to basically set up a server so that I can read this data into Python. I think what I'll do first, because when I rendered this square, I took the shaders from three.js 2. And three.js has very complicated shaders. Like, easily more complicated than the ones Grant wrote. So I think right now I'm not going to try to deal with those. Right now I'm going to try to just use a simple shader that I've already written here. Maybe the vertex colors one? Let me see. I guess there's a test one. Test.frag and... Oh, won't I be able to look at tests? Oh, wait. Simple vertex, surface test. It looks like the... Oh, is there something on default? Okay, default vert. That's really simple. And then it should be a default frag. Okay, that's perfect. Although, no, yeah, I think that's fine. So then I'm going to, maybe I should just comment this or something. I'll just make a new class. Like simple, like 3 server test. Something like that. And the shader for this is going to be really straightforward. I'll just take the default one, which I think I don't even have to specify it. I think it'll happen automatically. Then I'll just, I think I have to set the color uniform. Yeah, U color. I set that to red, I guess. That should be fine. And then the mesh that I'll pass in will be the one that I copied from three.js. So no normal, no UVs, just copy these positions. Okay, then I'll make a mesh from this. And I can add that. Great, and if I self.weight, I think I have to rename this to invert. Just because that's the name the shader uses. Oh, and I have to use the model view and projection matrices too. That should be fine, I think. If I check the renderer, yes, that'll pass the view and the projection matrices on its own. I guess it won't pass a model matrix. Unless that happens in the render function automatically. Let's see. Def render. Oh, does it seriously not? Okay, so here, this is where it passes in the model matrix. Okay, so I think I should be able to render this one. Let me put in 3 server test. Yeah. Perfect. That's exactly what I expected to see. Just kidding. Yeah, why did that look so crazy? Is this actually length 24? Looks like it is. No, that's not the one I wanted to run. Quit this. I'm gonna do a full interactive embed here. It looks like some problem with the projection matrix, possibly. Doesn't look much like a cube though, that's for sure. I wonder why this would have problems. But this, oh, this takes in 4 coordinates each. So for each of these, I need to add a coordinate. Basically adding in a 1. Oh man, sometimes my keyboard just disconnects. It's super annoying. Okay, let me see if I can do all of these at once. Great, so that should give them the extra coordinate. Maybe now this will look like a box. No such luck. Still looks like random planes. Oh, maybe I have to... Hold on. Oh, I edited the wrong one. That's not the one I wanted to change. I wanted to change this one. So let's do that, and then change this to 4. And now try that again. Okay, so now it's still not quite a box. That's pretty annoying. Maybe... Actually, this could potentially be pretty bad. If the geometries that come with three.js are only usable with the shaders, because it could be that the shader does something special that transforms this into an actual box. But for now, let me look at only the first one. I should also update my shortcut. And I have to redo my keyboard shortcuts. That happens pretty much every time my keyboard disconnects. Okay. So now if I run this, that looks fine, just a triangle. I want to see if I can track down where this goes wrong. Or it stops being a square shape. Seems like even here it doesn't look like a square shape. Like, why does it have this angle? Point 5.5.5, then 0.5.5 is negative 0.5. I feel like this should work. Dang. When I put the same thing in the other example, this one, I wonder why that would work. It has to be something in the shader. Also, this song is annoying me. It has to be something in the shader. Which is what I was hoping it wouldn't be. But life is never so easy, I guess. I'm gonna look in shaders 3 basic material. Something must be getting... Okay, so if I look at position, these are the points that are passed in. So it just takes that, makes this one transformed. Then it multiplies that by morph target base influence. Yeah, this is only if it's using morph targets. Which I guess it isn't by default. It does multiply by a model view matrix. Oh, it does the multiplication by the model view matrix and the projection matrix in the shader rather than before the shader. I guess that's fine. Normalize, and it uses the view matrix this way. It's actually, even with that, it's not clear why these points wouldn't work or why they wouldn't fit together into a box. I'm gonna look at this again. No, I did something else wrong. What happened? No, this is the 4, this was the 24. Invert. So it's going to take this in, then the model matrix, view matrix, projection matrix. And this is just really straightforward with the color. All right. But it doesn't fit together into a square or into a cube. If the only thing this code is doing is just rendering it the way it is, I wonder what the change could possibly even be. Shader.py. Yeah, this is all fine. So as far as I can tell, this basically only works with the three.js shader. So let me look at this again. I Actually, it might not be working. It might be because I can only look at it from this front view. So I should test that. In this one. Although in this one, oh yeah, I can't move the camera and stuff because this one doesn't use the view matrix that the camera updates. This one has its own view matrix that I copied from three.js. So is there a better way to make this rotate? Maybe I just want to... Dang, this is going to be pretty complicated, I think. Okay, if I just want to rotate it around the z-axis, and the camera's looking down along the z-axis, so then I won't actually want to rotate around the z-axis. I want to rotate around the y-axis, I guess. So maybe I can add an updater. This will take the mesh. This will be mesh.attributes at position. For starters, let me see if I can just move it to the side. Okay, so let me see if I can do this. Okay, and I can. Oh, that's the wrong one. With this test, fine. So I don't want to do that. What I want to do is rotate this. So, do I have to get a quaternion? Rotate vector. I think that'll do. Maybe just do something really straightforward like a for loop, do vec and mesh.attributes at position. And say mesh dot, I'll need the index, I guess, and the enumerate. Mesh.attributes at position, then you can say mesh.attributes at position. Index.I is going to be the rotated version. So I'll say vec. The angle be just something small. And the axis will be y. The y-axis, so up. Alright, that's fairly straightforward. I'll have to... I already have space ops. Okay, let's see if this works. And I guess it's sort of working, but I am seeing actually that this geometry doesn't line up, which is extremely annoying. I don't know why it's moving up though. Oh, because of this. When I have it just like this, there is something that doesn't line up about it. Dang. So maybe I can't use OpenGL geometries, at least not that easily. I wonder if it'd be worth it to debug these triangles. Would that be worth it? It should just be 6 planes, right? So this one's going to positive 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. There should be one of these axes should be constant. But it isn't. Because if there was a plane somewhere that's adjacent to the coordinates, then they would have to have like all the same x value or all the same y value, something like that. But these don't have that. Well, that's unfortunate. Basically, the only way to use that would be probably to debug the shader. At least figure out what the shader is doing. Doing in, not this example, but if I put a square there. Or a cube, rather. Then when does that transformation of the vertices occur? Let's check this again. I feel like I'm getting all of the worst songs. Okay, go into this now. When I get the position attribute here, okay, then I look in main. If use UV, it's not defined. Use color alpha, that's not defined. Use color, that has to be defined. But it's actually not. Well, okay. Oh, I guess because I'm not using vertex colors. But it defines all these variables. All these variables. It takes transformed, which is the same thing as position right here. There's no morph targets, so this doesn't run. There's no skinning, so this doesn't run. It looks like it just appends this one to get MV position. It just multiplies by the model view matrix, multiplies by the projection matrix. It looks like that's all, actually. So how could this be possible? I wonder if I'm printing out the right data. I think it has to be if all I did was just create this box geometry. And then I just print that. Unless it's using an index array. Which would make sense. That would be more efficient. Let me see. I'll have to look through the code.